It's a real honor to be speaking with you. Your interview on Point of Inquiry podcast has sent my life down a completely different direction, and it's really great. And I would just like to ask, I know so many people who are very, very intelligent. I mean, they are really have a very high IQ and are very analytical, and I'm sure we all do, who are also extremely religious. And I would just love to know your take about how people, they're not dumb, they're not anything. They just don't apply the same skills that they have, those same abilities, to philosophical questions. I'd love to know how you think that arises.
I mean, I'm as baffled as you are. I think that the first thing to do when you meet one of your very intelligent friends who says he's religious, she's religious, ask what actually they do believe in, because a good many of them may be saying they're religious when really what they believe in is something like what Einstein believed in. Well, Einstein used the word God, but of course he didn't believe in God. Einstein used the word God as a sort of metaphorical, poetic personification of that which we don't yet understand. And every scientist should acknowledge with Einstein that there's a hell of a lot we don't understand, and should feel something akin to religious awe and reverence for the unknown mysteries of the universe. So that would be the first question. However, if they say, no, I actually believe in the virgin birth, I actually believe in resurrection and the Trinity and the blood of the Lamb, and even, I actually believe the world is 6,000 years old. Now that's a sort of acid test. If you can find somebody who you say is really intelligent and well-educated, who believes that the world is 6,000 years old. I quoted Kurt Wise earlier. Kurt Wise, as I said, was a Chicago and Harvard-educated geologist, PhD at Harvard in paleontology, believed the world was 6,000 years old. He had set his heart on becoming a career scientist at a major university. He was said to be very intelligent and could perhaps have achieved that goal, but he increasingly recognized the mismatch between his science and his religion, which he'd been brought up with, and he settled the matter by taking a pair of scissors in the Bible. He went right through the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, cutting out every bit of the Bible which would have to go, in his view, if he accepted the scientific worldview of his education. And at the end he said that there was so little left of the Holy Scripture that when he tried to pick up his dissected version, his doctored version, it just fell apart. And he said, that night, then and there, I tossed all my hopes and ambitions for becoming a scientist into the flames. I had a choice to make between my religion and my science, and I chose religion. And ever since then, he's been teaching that the world is 6,000 years old. He must know the sheer magnitude of the discrepancy between what he claims to believe, which is the world is 6,000 years old, and what the scientists believe, which is that the world is 4.6 billion years old. And I've dramatized the scale of the error by calculating, and I got it wrong the first time, but I think I got it right now, that it's equivalent to believing that the distance from New York to San Francisco is 7.8 yards. Kurt Wise knows that what he believes is not just a bit wrong, or sorry, a bit different from the scientific worldview. It's so different that it's equivalent to believing that the width of North America is a matter of yards. And yet he does it. The answer to your question has got to lie in psychology, which is not my expertise. It does seem to me to be a kind of lunacy to be able to compartmentalize your mind to such an extent that you can, on the one hand, read and write learned papers in geology, which simply assume the great age of the Earth, simply assume that the dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago, etc. And yet, on Sundays, don't just mouth the words that you of Genesis, which is what any boring Church of England clergyman would do, but actually believe it. Actually believe something that you, in a sense, know to be false, out of loyalty. As I say, I am completely baffled, and I can summon up very little respect for such people, and I think I could summon up something approaching extreme skepticism for your statement that they are intelligent.